And welcome back to Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, coming to you live from Fremont, California. Joe Alhiff along with Eric Hodges on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com, where we have a matchup of the 2-2 Washington Huskies versus the 3-1 American Eagles. And, we've built it up between these two teams. One team that can pass and run the ball pretty well against a very good rushing team. What do you expect to see first from Washington High?
I expect Washington to come out of the gates and try to do a little trickery is what I like to call it. I know that in a big rivalry game, you like to catch your opponent off guard. We'll try to see if they come up with maybe, a little flea flicker. How great would that be to see early in this game?
Nice to see the teams mix it up. But, of course, then we look at American, the Eagles, the rushing team. What do they want to do early?
Basically, go back to their workhorse, which we talked about beforehand. Eric Adair. I don't know if anyone's got a chance to see this kid play, but he's not that big of a kid. He's like 5'7.5". I'll give him that half because we're about the same size. And he just puts his head down, like mentioned before, and is not afraid to run anyone over.
And, you got those shorter backs, sometimes harder for the defensive lineman to see behind the bigger blockers. And so something he may work to his advantage, kind of like a Maurice Jones-Drew, Darren Sproles kind of player in that sense.
Very true, yes. They are little scatterbacks that aren't afraid to get dirty.
And so we have the opening kickoff coming as Washington won the toss and has elected to receive. And we see Anthony Wellington kicking it off. And it's going to be an onside kick. Diving on is one of the Washington frontmen, and he's able to recover it there right about the 44-yard line. And so the Huskies will go to work from there.
And, Joe, I hate to pat myself on the back, but what did I just say? Let's see a little trickery in this rivalry game.
So very well called, and maybe we'll trade out this headset for a coaching headset at some point there.
I don't know about that.
We'll get set here 1st and 10 for Washington, set from the 45-yard line. They'll go to work. It'll be Braden Sewell under center for the Huskies. For correction, Kyle Malpede, the QB for Washington. As he gets set in the shotgun, quick handoff, and working up the middle, pushing up ahead for a couple yards is a halfback, and it was Eddie Adams.
Yeah, Eddie Adams really putting his head down there and trying to pick up a couple yards.
So that sets up a second down. And looks like about 7 from here, and quickly Washington has their offensive line all set up here.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to speed up play a little bit here, maybe trying to catch American off guard on the defensive side.
So Malpete set in the shotgun with 3 wide receivers here on second down, faking the handoff, looking to his left. Quick screen pass, sniffed out by the defense and brought down for a loss was Terrence Jones.
And Terry George getting into the backfield. You got to see that from the safety back there, really catching a read on that play and bringing down the tackle for a loss.
And so waiting and looking like this spot is just about a half-yard past the original line of scrimmage. There'll be a 3rd down and a long 9 coming up here for Washington. Once again, they're quickly coming out and getting the call from the sideline here as they try to keep the tempo up. 2 receivers at the bottom here, screen 1 up top, and setting the shotgun here is quarterback Malpede dropping back, looking to his right, has some pressure, firing on the run. He's able to complete the pass for the 1st down, plus a little bit more to his wide receiver. And he's able to connect there with Ahmed Ariobi.
And give credit to Malpede there, rolling out of the pocket, giving himself some extra time and finding the open receiver.
And so Washington quickly getting up to the line there. They're kind of a quasi-no huddle, but they still kind of take their time getting settled in here as they get set again. A 3 wide receiver set. Malpede set in the shotgun. Adams the back behind him as Malpede barking out the calls and getting set, dropping back, looking to his left, throwing to his left. This one is caught and brought down was a wide receiver as Terrence Jones.
And Terrence Jones leaping up for that one. That was a tough grab, but Jones making it look relatively easy.
So they move it up a 5-yard gain on the play. 2nd down and 5 coming up for the Huskies here. This first possession of the ball game, 10-13 and counting left to play here in the first quarter as Jones getting set in the shotgun once again. Still in that 3 wide receiver set. This time he's going to hand it off, working up the middle as Adams. And
we have a flag on the play, Joe.
And we'll see what that penalty was all about as they threw it right into the offensive line, typically in the area of holding. And we do have the hold called against the offense.
And a bit of a momentum stopper there for Washington High School. It really seemed to be driving with ease there, so you hate to see that penalty when you have all that momentum on the offensive side.
And that penalty drives them back and sets them up with a 2nd down and 13 as Washington getting set here. They shuffle personnel in and out. So now they go in a 4 wide receiver set. Malpe taking his time as he gets set. Now takes a shotgun snap here, dropping back. Going to float it off towards the left side. It's complete to Adams, using his blockers. He has a first down, getting across the marker. He's across the 25 and finally wrestled down inside the 20.
And boy, do you want to see a picture-perfect way to run a screen. They did it there. Adams getting the hole there. And absolutely no blue jerseys around him, picking up another first down for Washington.
And we do see a flag on the play. And waiting for the call here. Looks like a legal procedure called against the offense here.
Yeah, I'm sure Washington head coach Ken Whitmer not too happy about this. 2 straight penalties for Washington High School now. And we mentioned before the momentum. You're killing it right now with these penalties.
It drives them way back now, looking at a second down and just a little bit shy of 20 yards here to go here. Still no score with 9:24 left to play here in the first quarter. And Malpe looking like he'll be set with 4 wide receivers in the shotgun here. So Washington, after getting some rhythm early on off their first offensive drive, having some trouble with the penalties. They go play action here, fired out to the right side, complete receiver, and yet another flag comes down right near the 45 as Brandon Sewell's wrestled out of bounds near the 40. We'll see what that one's all about. Still waiting for a call here. So legal formation against the offense will shift it back even further.
Yeah, so 3 straight penalties now for Washington High School. They had that early momentum, and I don't have to tell you guys at home, you can't do this to yourself as a team.
So they get lined up here. The flag was back at the 45. They're spotted at the 40. They get set in the shotgun here with 4 wideouts. So there's an issue here, though. I don't think the referees have this right.
Right, we're both shaking our heads up
Taking the shotgun snap is Malpe anyway. This will be an open play. Fired over middle, incomplete. He was trying to connect with the receiver deep over the middle, and it was Ahmed Ariobi again.
And Malpe just barely overthrowing his receiver, but his receiver had the step there to what looked to be 6 points.
So it sets up a 4th down here.
So I think what happened with the penalty before is that American High School declined. I'm not quite sure what happened with that penalty before. Still,
it looks like they did have to decline and set up to 3rd down there. The stick was still marking 2nd down. They flip it up to 4th down now here for Malpe. Set in the shotgun, 4 wideouts, and he gets set with back to his left and rolling to his left will be Malpe looking. He's going to fire out towards the left side, incomplete. He was trying to connect with Ariobi again.
And Ariobi just inches away from these receptions here for Washington High School.
And so a turnover on downs will be setting it up here for American High, and we'll see them go to work here.
And American High School coming off that huge win last year in this huge rivalry game against Washington High School. In fact, last year's victory was the first time they won this game since 1987.
So they get set here. 8:28 left to play here in the first quarter. Still no score, and American with their first offensive possession, getting it set up. Barker set under center. He hands off, and working up the middle is his halfback, and it is Drew Lyell, and Lyell able to fight ahead for about a 5-yard gain.
And Drew Lyell, one of those workhorses for American High School. We mentioned Eric Adair. Before Lyell gets a lot of the carries as well.
And so setting up a 2nd down, actually about 6 here as they get set off the 4-yard gain. And Barker set under center again. 1 wide receiver to the bottom of your screen. High formation behind Barker. And taking the snap, he hands it off. This is Lyell again, using his blockers, pushing forward, and looks like he had just enough for the first down at the 50.
And Lyell stayed to the fundamentals on that play, seeing his hole open up behind his left tackle there, and took it in for the first down. Great job there by Lyell.
So 1st and 10. Ball spot at the 50-yard line. They bring it up. Barker bringing his team up to the line. And 3 backs in the backfield behind Barker here. Taking the snap, he hands it off. This one's for Adair towards the left side, and his first carry of the night is good for about 7 yards on the play.
And that's our first look at Adair. You can kind of see his speed out there as he cuts it to the outside, taking it down the sideline, and that's really the strength of his game. He's got those quick feet.
And you saw the agility at the end of that when he had that last little move to his left there to avoid a tackler and get that extra yard. So setting up here on a 2nd down and 3. Coming up on 7:15 left to play here in the first quarter. And Barker set under center, 3 backs behind him. And we have false start going as Lyell fell forward. or let me correct myself, actually, that was Arturo Basurdo.
So here's the deal with the Americans' offense. They have, we mentioned Eric Adair, Drew Lyell, and they have 3 to 4 backs that they actually use in the backfield. So the fact that they've been averaging over 200 yards rushing over the last 3 games is no coincidence.
And so the first penalty against American puts him back in a 2nd down and 9 from the Washington 48-yard line. As Barker set under center. Taking the snap, hands it to Adair, quickly goes back towards his left, and he fights his way forward, getting up to about the 45-yard line,
and
3rd down.
And what was certainly going to be a loss of yards, you mentioned that agility from Adair. We saw it there again as he stopped on a dime. That play was initially to go off the right guard, but it looked like he cut it back and picked up positive yards. And like I said, it was more than likely going to be a gain for, or a loss, rather.
And so Adair making it happen with his feet on that play. Now it's a 3rd and 5. They get set. Washington showing blitz as the handoff is going to go to Lyell, following his blockers through the middle, and he's able to knife his way through the defense and get another 1st down.
It is that hard-nosed football, isn't it, Joe? Running up the gut every single play so far, and so far so good for American High School.
Yeah, you see that strategy with American. Everyone knows they're going to run. They're just going to do it unapologetically. If you can stop them, good for you, but it seems to be working for them, at least in these last 2 games, as they bring it up to the line here. Set on a 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line. Barker taking the snap, falls down. Now the ball squirts loose. Players fighting for it, and the original halfback, Robert Pinckney, was able to pick it up.
Talk about being in the right place at the right time for Pinckney. What was about to be tragedy actually ended up being a, half-yard loss. So, hey, count your blessings on that one if you're American High School.
Yeah, that brings up a 2nd and long 10 as Pinckney went to take the handoff from the falling Barker. It looked like it went off his right knee, then bounced forward, but it seems like it got kicked back either by an offensive or defensive lineman, and Pinckney able to fall on it. So as we said, a 2nd and a long 10 from the 40-yard line in Washington territory. Just under 5.5 minutes left to play here in the 1st quarter, and it looks like we might have a false start going against American.
And that looked like Anthony Young for American High School, who jumped there a little bit early.
Yeah, the senior tight end brings him back 5 yards. So we call it a 2nd and a long 15 coming up here. Barker getting set under center. And this time it's going to be a pitch to Adair towards the right side, following his blockers. He's still on his feet as he gets back to the original line, or to the line of scrimmage, and fights his way forward for an additional yard there.
They're still going. Here's the fight in the kid. Here's the reason why I was saying you guys got to watch this kid. Number 2 for American High School. Boy, oh boy, he has a lot of fight in him. And again, that was one of those plays where he would have lost a couple yards, but that fight got him, a 2-yard gain.
Yeah, just great to see that in the backfield. It really does provide a spark for an offense when a broken play or a play where it seems like you have a loss is turned into a positive. Still, they're set with a 3rd down and long, about a 14 yards to go here for the 1st down. Barker getting set under center. Again, 3 backs behind him. He's going to fake the handoff and go for first pass of the evening. Throws towards the left side. Incomplete. Flags fly, and we might have a pass interference here.
Yeah, that was certainly a pass interference on Washington's cornerback, and that was Brandon Sewell, who tried to make a play. Can't fault the kid, but got there a little too early.
Shagun Jiwa was the intended receiver, and so see the pass interference call there. We'll get the 1st down for American. So Washington's defense now has a penalty issue.
And going back to American High School, they love to run the ball, but the thing about it is that their quarterback, junior Ryan Barker, was a starter for this team last year, and every time he gets a chance to sling the thing, you see the arm strength there. So, yeah, they certainly have that as a weapon as well offensively.
Clock stop at 4:19 here to play in the 1st quarter as they get set here. 1st down and 10. Ball inside the 30-yard line, and Barker is going to hand it off. And working towards the left side, having a seam as the back ends into the end zone. And touchdown for Robert Pinckney.
And it looks like the side judge is going to stop him about maybe a half-yard short of that touchdown, but nonetheless a great run there by Pinckney.
So Pinckney stopped just shy of the goal line there.
Can we get replay? We can't get replay, right?
We cannot. So we'll be 1st and goal for American.
Are these replacement refs? Sorry, I had to do that once.
Let's make that the once and only there. We are glad the refs are back, though. We get set here. 1st and goal. And Barker going to hand it off and finding his way into the end zone for the touchdown was a halfback. And as Basurdo is able to get it in.
And we mentioned before, this American high school team has a four-headed monster in the backfield there that we got a chance to see all four of them work, and Arturo Barturo getting the touchdown there.
And so an extra point will be upcoming for American here. Alex Mayoral getting set to kick the extra point here. Here's a snap. The kick is up, and under pressure, Mayoral is able to connect, making it 7-0 Eagles with 3:36 left to play here in the first quarter.
Yeah, we talked about it coming into the ball game that American high school was not going to play any secrets. They were telling Washington right off the bat that they were going to run the ball and they were going to run it hard. And what did we see in that first offensive possession for American high school? Boy, oh boy, we saw a lot of running, and Washington's still trying to figure out things to get that stop somehow.
And so we'll see if Washington can get it together. Of course, a good drive to start for them. Penalties seem to hurt them there as they had the turnover on downs in American territory.
Yeah, go back to American high school's running game over the last 3 games. Real quick stat check. In week 3 against Doherty Valley, halfback Eric Adair had 27 carries, 132 yards. Then in week 4 against San Lorenzo, he had 24 carries for 196 yards. So we're really seeing a lot of that running game again tonight.
For American, we'll see Wellington, who handles the kickoff, kicking out, who's Steve Ariobi has a 67-yard return for a touchdown on the season thus far. And a bit of a delay here. And referee wants to switch out the ball here. So we wait for the ball to be switched out here.
And we mentioned earlier on that Washington High School started conference play last week in the Mission Valley League. However, for American High School, this is their first conference game, so they got the momentum going for that as well. That first conference game, you really get fired up for that.
Hey, good to start it off with a rivalry between these two teams. As we mentioned the beginning of the broadcast, the Battle of the Boulevard, as you said at the start, only about a mile apart for these two schools that share this home field.
That's right. A lot of bragging rights out there tonight.
And Wellington getting set to kick this one off from his own 40. Here's a kick by Wellington, and this one's going to be a squibber up towards the middle. Diving on as a Washington player, loses it for a moment, then picks it up. And it's Sewell with it around the 20, now working down the left sideline, following some blockers, and he's finally pulled down as he crossed the 35-yard line.
And Sewell showing that agility on that play.
And so Washington here tried to correct the mistakes from their first drive as they go back to work here.
And if you're just joining us, Washington started off their first offensive possession marching down the field. However, after that, 3 straight penalties killed them. So I'm sure that head coach Ken Whitmer is telling their team, hey, let's cut down on the penalties. Let's try to get back in this game.
And trailing 7-0 with 3:26 left to play here in the first quarter as Malpede set to work first spotted from the 37-yard line. Malpede getting the call from the sideline and checking his wristband. Going to be set in a 4-wide receiver set. Adams the back with him. Takes a first down snap, fakes a handoff to Adams, feeling some pressure, and he's going to be brought down from behind for a loss. Ball's loose on the play. Players diving for it. No signal yet. And it's going to say a turnover. That was the initial call from the referee. And no, this looks like they will not be. Initially, the referee signaled towards American.
I think what ended up happening was that Washington's right guard ended up falling on that, who would be Colton McCoy, and that seemed to be the call initially.
So say with a second down at 14, taking the shotgun snap, faking the handoff, and throwing towards the right side, snipped out by the American defense, and a loss on the play.
And give credit to the cornerback Matt Reed there for American High School, sniffing that one out like you mentioned, and making it a tackle for a loss there.
And Ariel will be brought down for that loss there. It's going to set up a 3rd down and long now.
American head coach Brett Casey said his team is very young, but he is very ecstatic about his defense, and you're starting to see why. They have a lot of speed out there.
And a team that has generated turnovers as they get set here. A 3rd down and long, 4 wide receivers. And Malpede set in the shotgun. Taking the snap, dropping back. He's going to air it out towards the left side, looking for his receiver, and that ball is just overthrown. Late flag comes in. And boy, kind of a touchy call there.
Yeah, the Boo Birds coming out here in the crowd over on the American side for that call. But, hey, a great pass there, and had an opportunity to make a play.
And Malpete put a lot of air under it to try to get that connection there. And so the first down coming off the penalty there.
You know, I'm impressed with what we've seen from Malpete so far. The boy's got some touch on his long throws. That's about the third time they've had that pass attempt 20-plus yards and just inches away from completing that ball here.
So it'll be a 1st and 10 as they wait for the sticks to get set there off the defensive pass interference. Ball will be spotted just touching the 45-yard line as they get set. 3 wide receivers. Malpete set in the shotgun. And he's going to hand it off up the middle as his back working up. Adams fighting forward, and he's going to be brought down after gaining 9. So 2nd down and actually looks like 2. And a lot of options in the playbook here. It's Washington getting set. They go 3 wideouts once again. Malpete set in the shotgun. Taking the snap and using play action, a quick fire out towards the left side. Complete to Jiwa. And Jiwa working towards the sideline, being wrestled down by 2 players. Finally goes down after crossing the 35-yard line. 1st down for the Huskies.
And, you know, that's a little screenplay across the middle, about 7 yards out, is really working for Washington High School right now.
Yeah, they seem to just be kind of moving it here and there, back and forth with those passes off to the sides there, and seeing they think they have something with the American defense.
Yeah, some kind of hole that they found there. As Americans stacking the box a little bit here.
So Malpete from the shotgun is going to hand off to Adams. He's hit immediately at the line of scrimmage and falls forward. Maybe got a half yard on the play. 2nd down upcoming.
Yeah, Americans sniffed that out. Like I said, they stacked the box for that play.
So they get set here for the 2nd and long. So a lot of mixing it up for this Washington offense. A bit more run heavy here on this possession than we saw on the first drive. Set from the shotgun, Malpete takes a 2nd down snap, fakes a handoff. Now he's looking deep towards the left side again, has a man, and he is just overthrows his receiver.
Wow, that is 4 attempts now downfield and 4 attempts that are literally inches away from being touchdowns.
So Malpete really thinks he can get something with his receivers. They haven't quite connected on those deep balls yet. But
I was going to say Malpete had like a huge steak dinner because he's got that extra pump in his arm right now. He's got to calm it down about a notch.
Yeah, he's been moving the ball around well in those short plays, and that and the runs have really set up some of those attacks they've had. Just has not been able to connect with his wide receivers. 53 seconds left to play here in the first quarter as they get set here on 3rd down. From the shotgun, Malpete rolling to his right. Pressure coming as he looks downfield. He's able to fire, and it looks complete to Jiwa, and Jiwa is going to be just shy of the 1st down marker.
So that is the 2nd time in the first quarter that we've seen Malpete roll out to the right side. Both times big completions.
And correct myself, that was actually Bridger Johnson. So 4th down and very short, and they're going to have a measurement here. So officials stop the clock with 30 seconds remaining here in the first quarter.
And let's go back to that 3rd and, what was it, about 20 for Washington High School, and that big pass interference call. It gave them the momentum this time on the offensive side.
So both these teams victimized by penalties on different drives here. First it was Washington's offense, and Americans' defense kept this drive alive.
Yeah, it's amazing how penalties can hurt you so much in this game of football.
So see them going for the measurement here. And it is probably about a foot short there with the measurement.
You know, I was watching Washington's place kicker kick a few balls before the game. He easily was knocking them in from about 40 yards out. So did they attempt to go for a field goal here?
And, you know, it seems like they haven't changed out the personnel. And that short of a situation seems more like 4-down territory and worth taking the shot here.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, Washington so far, minus the penalties, has not had a hard time moving the ball here on offense. So now it's a bit of confusion before things come together here. Referees get over the ball here to confer. now they will start the clock, and we will start play here. Malpe set the shotgun. Takes a snap, he hands off to Adams, spinning his way forward. He has a first down as he's able to work his way through the offensive line.
And did you guys see Adams spin on that play? He saw that he was going to get stuffed in the backfield, had the audacity to spin that last second to pick up the first down.
And so Washington continues their drive after the aggressive call there. They go set here, 1st and 10, under 10 seconds here. Let's see if they get the playoff here before the end of the first quarter. Malpe from the shotgun. Does get it to Adams. He is hit in the backfield immediately and brought down. And it looks like a 2-yard loss on the play to wrap up the first quarter. So your score, 7-0 Eagles over the Huskies here at the end of the first.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. Well, for more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
And we do have a good matchup here, the Battle of the Boulevard between these two teams. And so far, American with the advantage, a 7-0 lead over the Huskies, but the Huskies knocking on the door to try to even this game up.
Yeah, you got to be impressed by the Huskies' offense. Like we said, other than the fact that their first offensive drive of the game, penalties killed them, they've looked very impressive on the offensive side.
Yeah, but really good ability to move the ball. They seem to be able to run and pass it very well against this American team. And good rhythm established really on both drives, as we've said before. I mean, the penalties could kill that drive, but that one was looking good up to that point.
And, you know, there's something about the rivalry games that just really brings out not only the best in the teams out here on the field, but you look out here in the crowd here in Fremont, California, and you got the band playing, and you got the crowd fired up for this one because of the rivalry game, you know. You got to love to see that.
Well, you see with these two schools so close together, it's kids playing against each other who grew up playing, you know, on same teams and different teams throughout different leagues. So obviously this game means a lot to them as well. So we get started here to set this second quarter. It's going to be a second down and 13 here for Washington. The last play of the first quarter was taking the shotgun snap and firing towards the left side, complete towards the 20-yard line, and falling forward was the wide receiver.
And I believe that is Terrence Jones.
And Jones with the reception there.
So again, Washington High School going back to that screenplay, and it's been working for him.
Well, it sets him up with a third down and challenging, really, about a 3rd and 7 here, 3rd and 6. So Malpete's set from the shotgun. Malpete taking the snap, faking the handoff. He's got the receiver Lanos over the middle, incomplete, broken up by the D.
Yeah, that was a great ball by Malpete, but you got to give credit to American High School's cornerback there. I didn't catch his number, but getting his hand in there, knocking that ball away, big-time play for American High.
You wonder when Andrew Lanos' name was going to be called up here. He has been a top target for them this season, and they went to him there in a crucial situation, not able to connect. Going to see the field goal upcoming here. Or no, excuse me, they're going to go for it here on 4th down.
Big 4th down play here for Washington.
So very aggressive call here. Malpete from the shotgun, rolling to his right, looking right, throwing towards the out route, and good play by the DB to break it up.
And that is D'Angelo Cox with the big-time stop there for American High School. So when they needed to come up big, American High School's young defense came up big, forcing the ball in turnovers.
So the second turnover on downs for Washington High here. 11-13 left to play in the second quarter. American with the 7-0 lead will go to work here deep in their own territory. So set from the 17-yard line, Barker brings it up. They hand it off, and working up the middle is Lyell. Lyell fighting his way forward. He has about a 5-yard gain on the play.
And that's the thing with Americans' running game. It seems like every time they run it, it's no secret that they're going to run it either off the left guard or right guard, but they consistently pick up 5 yards. And that's all you need, Joe.
Yeah, just good rhythm for the offense there with the run game. As they get set here, it'll be a 2nd down and 5. Barker set under center, taking the snap, and he's going to hand this one off as Lyle again quickly through the line and pushing his way forward. He gets up to about the 25-yard line, so a 3rd down and 3 upcoming.
You know, I know Eric Adair gets a lot of credit in that backfield for American High School, but Drew Lyle averaging about 79 yards a game, so he picks up a good chunk of that yardage as well.
Yeah, a good 1-2 option for these 2 backs, and American can give you different looks with them. Clock moving under 10 minutes and 13 seconds left to play here in the first half. Barker set 3rd down and 3. Taking the snap, handing it off. It's Lyle again, working towards the left side. Has a seam down the left. One man to beat, crossing the 50. Still working downfield. Can he make it across the 20 and just tripped up from behind inside the 10-yard line?
And there's that big play that offensive line really surges with. They knocked that defense down. Gave credit to Lyle, but let's not forget about that big offensive line for American High School really generating that play. Great play by Lyle.
And so great field position here inside the 10-yard line. A 1st and goal upcoming here for American after Lyle has the big run. And a chance to extend their 7-0 lead here with just under 9.5 left to play here in the first half. Barker bringing it up to the line. He's going to hand off to Pinckney this time, following his blocker towards the right side. He dives behind right guard, and he got, it looks like, a short gain on the play.
If you're a high school team and you have the option of using 4 backs, boy, that is a huge advantage.
Well, you see when they have those 3 backs in there, and that sets them up with a lot of different options. Americans set 2nd down and goal. Barker dropping back. He's going to hand out to Pinckney. Looked like a little bit of confusion to start the play. And Pinckney able to work to the left side, and looks like he got a gain of maybe a half a yard on the play.
Yeah, Washington's defense coming up big here on this huge goal line stance for Washington High.
So clock under 8.5 minutes left to play here in the first half. And a 3rd down and goal upcoming here. Ball spotted just inside the 5-yard line here. Barker set again with 3 backs behind him. Taking the snap, he's going to hand it off as Lyle. Lyle wrapped up from behind and brought down. And looks like actually about a yard loss on the play.
Yeah, so what we're seeing here is Washington High School taking the challenge from American. As we pointed out, American has not made it a secret that they're going to run the ball and they're going to run it up the gut. Washington High School coming up big here and stuffing the run.
So a 4th and goal upcoming here. And looks like American's going to take their first time out.
PlayOn Sports is on Facebook and Twitter. Don't forget, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at PlayOn Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOn Network. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. Joe, have you got the opportunity to check out the Facebook page for PlayOnSports.com? Very cool stuff.
Yeah, I checked it out, and of course, updates on all the games, and the highlights are great. The things you see on YouTube and on PlayOn Sports as well. Be sure to check in interviews with players of the game, and of course, really great highlights and some great athletes from all over the nation. Really.
I wish they had this when I was in high school. I was lucky to see my name in the paper maybe once or twice a year.
So they get set here. It's going to be a 4th down and goal. Barker set under center. Sending a man in motion. Taking the snap. He's going to fake it to Lyle. Now on the keeper for the quarterback, working towards the right side. Going towards the goal line. He dives forward. He's in for the touchdown.
And give credit to Barker there. Lowering down his shoulder. Pushing in for the touchdown. That is all will, ladies and gentlemen.
And a 5-yard touchdown run there for Barker.
And you got to love the play call there, right? Yeah, you know that the Washington's ready for that run right up the middle from one of the backs there from American High School. Barker having the audacity to make that a quarterback rollout and scoring on the big play.
So now Meyerell getting set to kick the extra point here and extend it to a 14-point lead with 7:28 left to play here in the second quarter. Here's a snap reeled in. Meyerl's kick is up, and right down the middle, it's good. 14-0, American leads. And, you love how coaches always seem to set up offenses that way, really kind of give you a look all the way down on those drives, and that really just builds to that one big play there, and you saw that with the quarterback keeper.
But here's what adds to that. That one big play was on 4th and 3.
Yeah, just a brilliant, aggressive play. You really see both of these two teams going for it on 4th down so far. No punts, no field goal attempts.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, give credit to head coach Brett Casey for that play call, man. Like I said, if I'm on that defensive side for Washington, I'm ready for the run up the gut on that. Not that little keeper there from Barker.
So Huskies set to return here. Wellington going to be kicking it off for the American Eagles here. Ariobi back, the only man to receive it there. And you've seen the strategy from American so far. They've been avoiding Ariobi first of the onside kick, and then you saw just the squib on their last touchdown. So we'll see if they continue to avoid Ariobi here on special teams. So Wellington set. Here's his kick, and again, just another squibber up the middle. And this one's brought up by the up man, fighting his way forward and getting up to the 40-yard line.
Here's the concern with plays like this. Obviously you want to avoid the threat in the return man there, but when you do those little squib kicks, look at the field advantage now for Washington High School. Do you want to give that up, or do you want to give it a try? Give it to the return guy. It's up for debate.
Yeah, in Sewell, they're able to bring it up to the 40-yard line. It's an interesting point. You wonder if they're just trying to hope for a loose ball, something that they can try to recover there and really swing the momentum of the ball game. As they get set here, it's going to be Washington with a 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line. So good field position then for them to try to erase part of this 14-point deficit here with 7:21 left to play in the first half. Malpede getting set. 2 receivers to the right and 1 towards the bottom of your screen. And Malpede was ready for the snap. Now the referee has blown the whistle to start the clock. And Malpede taking the snap, and a flag comes in, so there'll be a no play here. And false start against the offense. So not how Washington wanted to start this drive.
No, and again, going back to that first offensive drive of the game, if you guys are just joining us, so Washington was driving downfield with ease against Americans' defense, but then had 3 straight penalties that drew them back. So I don't have official score on the penalties, but I say they're close to probably about 7 penalties now, so that number's got to come down for them.
Instead, with a 1st and 15, Malpede taking the shotgun snap, firing to his right, and he's able to complete it. And being wrestled out of bound was the wide receiver along the sidelines.
And I like that play call, a little score out there to Washington's wide receiver. And keep it simple here if you're Washington. Get these little screen passes out there, because obviously Malpede has the arm strength to get the ball downfield. But first, you need to build his confidence. Get the little 5-yard passes out there for him.
It was Terrence Jones with the gain, setting up a 2nd down and 6 here. Malpede set from the shotgun, dropping back, looking left, hit as he throws, able to complete it down to the left side, and the receiver Sewell is thrown down just around the 49-yard line, setting up about a yard shy of the 1st down.
And again, they go back to that square out there, that simple little pass.
And that's how they're going to continue to move it down the field. So you see it just handoffs, little short screens, and then suddenly they wait till the defense is sleeping and they take that big shot downfield. Haven't completed that play yet, and you think that's what they're really going to be looking for here somewhere on this drive as Malpede set here on the short play, taking the handoff to Adams, and Adams fighting his way up the middle, spins away from a couple tacklers. He has a 1st down and a lot more as he's wrestled down inside the 45-yard line in American territory.
And I love that play call out of the shotgun set. American looked like they were a little confused. Are they going to pass the ball here or not? And give it to your big back in Adams there, and he got the job done.
So ball spotted in between the 44-45-yard line of American. Coming up on 6 minutes left to play here in the first half. Trailing by 14 as the Huskies get set here on 1st and 10. Malpede dropping back on the shotgun snap, quickly fires towards the right side, and ball is knocked away, and a flag comes in. Looks like we had a late hit on Malpede.
And Malpede just took a bruising on that hit. Give the kid credit, though. He stayed in the pocket, almost made a great completion.
And so that'll be a 1st down for Washington. So a mental error by a defensive player gives Washington great field position here and a first down. They'll spot it at the 30-yard line.
And, hey, give credit again, like I said, Malpe took a huge hit there and had the presence to stay in the pocket there. So give the kid credit. I know that hit didn't feel too good.
As he was a bit slow to get up there. Now he's set with the 1st and 10. 5:49 left to play in the first half. Taking the shotgun snap, he rolls to his right. Malpe looking, going to air it out deep. Looking towards the right sideline, incomplete.
Okay, so that is. I've been taking official count of this one, Joe. That is 5 straight passes downfield that have literally been inches away from completions and touchdowns.
Yeah, really, it's Malpe has that kind of high arcing throw to it, not more of a direct flight path for the ball.
It is a very pretty ball, though, nonetheless.
As he gets set here, it'll be a 2nd down and 10 from the American 30-yard line. And Washington getting the play from the sidelines as Malpe checking his wristband. Getting set from the shotgun and 3 wide receivers set. Malpe taking it, going to hand it off. And working towards the right side and through the seam is his back, juking back towards the left. It's Woodster working towards the end zone, and Woodster is in for the touchdown.
And Nate with one of those highlights that you have to rewind time and time again. Big time play there for Nate.
And so Washington able to answer with 5:35 left to play here in the second quarter. And now an extra point makes it a 7-point game.
And that was huge for Washington. Let's face it, you don't want to go into the half down 14-0. The fact that Woodster had the sense to cut that thing back across field, big time play there for Washington High School.
And Jake Rice getting set to kick the extra point. Here's a snap, kick is up as pressure came in from the edge, and Rice able to connect and make it a 1-touchdown game.
So you got to like the play call there from Washington High School on that big touchdown. You know, we've been seeing a lot of quarterback leader Kyle Malpe trying to get the ball downfield with his arm. That time Washington said, hey, hold on, we have a running game too. And obviously they displayed it there with that big time touchdown.
And so now it's time for Washington's defense to really try to stand up and respond there. They've got to stop the run up the middle.
Hey, they know what's coming, right?
Exactly.
That run's coming up the middle.
So we'll see how Washington does respond here, if they can try to continue to swing some momentum their way.
And remember, everyone, PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events. PlayOnSports.com, high school sports lives here.
So getting set to kick off will be the Huskies here. Pinckney and Adair are your deep men back to receive.
Did we mention this is a rivalry game? It has that feeling, right?
As they get set here, Rice will be kicking it away. And we'll see Rice getting set. And he, too, just going to avoid it, give a quick squibber up the middle. One of the American Upmen picks it up and dives his way forward across the 45-yard line. And it was Matt Reed who picked it up, and now they'll be spotted at the 47-yard line.
Yeah, both teams afraid of the return men back here in the kicking game. So that squib kick, both coaches going for it.
And as you mentioned, though, both teams starting past their own 40-yard lines. That's on right. These drives. So obviously they're trying to avoid the touchdown, but you're still giving up great field position here. So Ryan Barker set on 1st and 10. Two backs behind in the backfield. He gives a hand up to Lyell, and Lyell fighting through the middle, pushes his way through the line and gets up to the 49-yard line.
Boy, give credit to that offensive line again. You know, really working hard. And the fact that they keep opening up gaps for their tailbacks is truly amazing. You know, it's such a tiring aspect of the game to continue to make those holes and make them so big enough that your tailback can get through, and they do it on countless occasions.
And the speed from Lyell, and we haven't seen much of Adair yet, as Lyell with the big plays thus far for American. Barker from under center, hands off to Lyell again, working towards the left side this time, breaks through a couple arm tackles and gets up just near the first down marker. Looks like he's just shy at the 45. And we have a player down near the line of scrimmage.
And that looks to be Andrew Lanos of Washington High School, I believe. the defensive back for Washington High School. Hey, Joe, our great producer, Zach Farmer, just gave me an update of a bunch of scores here in the Bay Area. Let me go across these really quick. California High School out of San Ramon is up on Foothill High School in the second quarter, 12-0. Monte Vista is up over Granada at Livermore, 17-7 in the second quarter. Las Lomas is up, or rather tied with Acalini, 7-7, heading into the half. And De La Salle out of Concord is up 14-0 in the first quarter over Livermore. Also, one final score: San Ramon Valley is up 15-7 over Amador Valley. So plenty of other games going on across the Bay Area tonight.
And players still down for Washington High. It's still being checked out by the trainers here. So injury timeout here, and we wait to see, and certainly hope that the young man will be okay. Look like they're working on his right leg. With 4:42 left to play here in the second quarter. 14-7 your score. Eagles up over the Huskies.
You know, when we got a chance to speak with head coach Brett Casey of American High School earlier today, Joe, we were talking a lot about this running game and how it kind of occurred for his team. You know, they lost big in their first week of play, as it looks like. In correction on that player out there, I thought it was their corner, Andrew Lanos. It seems to be their other corner, Brandon Sewell, and it looks like he's getting up and walking off gingerly. Hopefully he's okay. But going back to Brett Casey and his running game, he said, hey, it was against Doherty Valley a couple of weeks ago that we found out that our running game was really efficient. He said they kind of accidentally did it. You know, he wasn't going to run the ball that much that game, and so happened that it worked, and he stayed with it this whole time.
And probably going to go to it here with a 3rd and short upcoming here. And flags coming in from the sideline. Looks like American might have jumped. And no, actually, call goes against Washington for encroachment, so a first down there.
So Washington continuing to kind of shoot themselves in the foot here with the penalties.
And certainly an issue they'll talk about at halftime. For now, they want to try to get the stop as American set with the 1st and 10 from the Washington 40-yard line. Barker set from under center, hands it off to Lyell. He's hit instantly by several defensive linemen, and the scrum gets pushed backwards. As you see American players diving in on the end of it, so a lot of players getting on the action on that play.
Yeah, one of the few times we've seen Washington's defense actually stop American in the backfield there.
And they mark it with momentum that he got back to the line of scrimmage, so 2nd down and 10 upcoming here for American. Clock moving under 3 minutes and 45 seconds left to play here in this first half. And now whistles coming. And referees talking to the defensive line. So Barker set up under center. Taking the snap, hands it off. It's Lyell working towards the right side, hit by one man, and finally a shoestring tackle brings him down.
And that's Nate Widstra with the shoestring tackle. And that was a big-time stop because the tailback Drew Lyle for American High School had some daylight to run there had he not gotten that stop. So big-time stop there.
So a 3rd down and 7 here for American. Coming up on 3 minutes left to play here in the second quarter. American looking to extend their lead before they go into the half, up by a score of 14-7. Taking the snap, Barker fakes a handoff. Under pressure, working towards his left, gets a couple blocks, and finally he is wrestled down at the 45-yard line.
And that is Austin Darius for Washington High School with the big-time sack. So one of the times that American elects to do a little play-action pass, Barker had nowhere to go, didn't have time to go anywhere, as Washington picks up the big-time sack.
And so the big play for Washington's defense. And now a punt upcoming. Looks like it's Wellington set to kick it away for American. Washington shuffling players around. As Wellington gets a kickoff, Ari will be back. And he's going to let this one bounce before he picks it up inside his own 5-yard line. Able to break away from tacklers. Now works down the right sideline. He's to the 20 before he's finally hit on the right sideline and knocked out of bounds. So Washington, all their timeouts remaining, 1:55 on the clock before they reach the end of the first half.
You know, going to Washington's offense, we've been talking a lot about senior leader Kyle Malpeat, their quarterback, and how he's had literally 5 passes that have been inches away from touchdowns. I'm talking about long posts down the sideline that have just literally been just inches off the fingertips of his receiver. Do we see him connect finally here?
As they get set with a 1st down and 10. Taking the shotgun snap, Malpeat firing quickly towards the right side. And ball is complete as he's able to connect with Terrence Jones. Correction again, actually Andrew Lanos was a receiver on the play.
And that seems to be working for Washington's offense, those little screen plays, 5-yard plays. And you don't have to go for the home run ball every single time.
So after the 1st down completion, they move the sticks here. And Malpeat set in the shotgun. Taking the snap, dropping back. Good protection. He's looking deep again, going towards the right sideline, looking for a man.
Oh,
and a one-handed
grab.
catch. Did he reel it in? And they're going to say it was a catch. Andrew Lanos with an incredible reception.
And you are not going to see plays like that at the high school level every single night. I'm telling you, Lanos with the sense to grab that ball with one hand, bring it in, somehow stay in bounds. What a catch.
And a big shot in the arm for this team here. Minute 27 and counting left to play here in the first half. And now Washington threatening to tie this game up before halftime.
Had a feeling one of those big passes was going to fall for Washington here.
Well, Malpeat going to hand this one off to Adams, working towards the right side. And a short gain here. We'll see if they try to burn a timeout here. And surprisingly, Washington not using any of their timeouts just yet.
Yeah, I would assume to draw the clock down as far to the half before American gets an opportunity to get the ball back on the offensive side.
And now it looks like finally we do have a timeout called. And it's actually taken by American.
And you got to like that timeout from American High School. You know, your defense isn't quite set. Washington's got the hurry-up offense going, so good timeout by head coach Brett Casey there.
Yeah, try to just reset things and get his defense refocused here. Of course, you also give the offense a little more time to try to sort out their next move after the big play and the incredible one-handed catch reeled in by Andrew Lanos.
Yeah, I really hope you guys at home got a chance to see that up close and personal. I mean, I know it's going to be on the highlight reel tomorrow, so please come back to PlayOnSports.com, check out the highlights because that play was truly amazing.
Yeah, really just great play. He had a defender all over him, did Lanos, and he still was able to concentrate and make that catch. And now setting his team up, you know, they kept trying and trying to get that shot downfield. And finally they did connect.
Hey, 6th time is a charm, right?
That's what it takes, but they're going to keep trying to get that shot downfield. It's how that rhythm seems to build for their offense, as we mentioned, just short plays, setups, handoffs, and just screen passes. Get the defense to cheat up a little bit and shorten the field, and take that shot over the back of the D, and they finally got that one working as they get set here now. It's going to be a 2nd down and a long 9. And American burns their 2nd timeout in a row, so now they're out of timeouts.
Yeah, so American's defense obviously still a little jitterbugged over the fact that Washington is kind of driving downfield on them here with 50 seconds left to play in the second half.
So we'll see what Washington will have drawn up here, as they've got quite a bit of an additional time to think this one over.
You know, if you're Washington, you got to go back to what's working. Give it to your leader, Kyle Malpeat, again. His ball is tight right now. He's slinging it in there. Do they go back to the screen pass, or do they shoot for the end zone here?
So Malpeat brings it up here. Again, it's a 2nd down and a long 9 in Washington territory. Ball spotted right near the 25-yard line. Taking the snap, Malpeat from the shotgun is going to hand it off. And working his way up the field was the halfback.
And that is Nate Woodstra picking up close to the 1st down.
Wooster, who had the touchdown earlier for Washington. So 3rd and 2 upcoming. Clock moving towards 30 seconds left to play here in the first half. Malpete takes the snap. He's going to hand it off again. And diving forward was a halfback. And it was Wooster again who was able to get enough for the first down.
And how big would it be for Washington to tie this game up going to the half with 26 seconds left here in the second quarter?
And Washington burns a timeout here. So 26 seconds remaining on the clock here. 14-7 Washington trails. And they definitely want a chance to score here because they do have to kick off to American to start the second half.
Yeah, that's a great point. If you can get these 6 or 7 points going into the half, boy, that's a lot of momentum to take in with you and your team.
Really, Washington, I mean, seems like they have a lot of options. They've been able to mix it up very well. What do you think they try to do here?
I say you stay with what's been working. That little screen pass about 6 yards out, across the middle. You know, it seems like American leaves a little hole out there because they're trying to adjust to either the run. And so I want to see a little button hook about 5 yards out here.
Yeah, it definitely seems like Washington has not had trouble moving the ball around against the American defense. So ball spotted outside the 10-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Huskies from the 12. Malpete takes a shotgun snap. He's going to hand it off to Wooster again, who breaks through one tackle, works towards the left side, diving forward into the end zone, his 2nd touchdown of the day.
Okay, we haven't talked a lot about Nate Wooster, but man, this kid has got some talent. Did you see that? For the 2nd time in this ball game, he stopped on a dime, cut it back to the sideline, and managed to score on the big-time play.
Yeah, the play looked like it was maybe going to be a loss. He was able to turn into the touchdown there, and now they're an extra point away from having a tie ball game.
And Nate Wooster, only junior, so Washington has that to look forward to next year as he'll come back as the senior leader, I'm sure, next year.
Now Rice set to kick it away. This one's up, and we are tied at 14 with 19 seconds left to play here in the first half.
Well, Joe, like I said, it is Battle of the Boulevard, ladies and gentlemen, and it has lived up to its hype so far. Huge score there for Washington going into the half here, not in this game up at 14.
You definitely love when two teams can fight back and forth, and Washington, after being down early, able to score and get this back to a tie ball game here coming up before the half. And really, there's going to be an interesting second half between these two teams if this kind of rhythm continues.
Yeah, it's one of those feelings you get from watching a ball game where you get the feeling that the last team to touch the ball in this ball game might be your winner.
And Washington will be kicking off here. And we'll see if they continue to avoid the return men, as both teams have seemed happy to do. So it's probably the benefit of being only a mile away from each other. They probably scout each other pretty well.
Yeah, I would assume. The great thing is these kids probably run into each other at lunch over at the Taco Bell, right? Little smack talking going on for this one, I'm sure. All in good fun.
So Rice set to kick this one away. And kicks it on the ground, but it's going to be deep enough for a pink team to pick up. And working forward towards the left side, he's up across the 35. And they're going to spot him at about the 38-yard line.
Yeah, let's see if American tries to get anything here. You just kneel the ball here and take the score in and tie it up at the half with 13 seconds left to play.
You'd think so. I mean, they have not taken many shots passing the ball. Only 13 seconds. They do get the ball back to start the second half. Maybe just a handoff or just take a knee.
Right.
And try to regroup for the second half here. So Barker brings it up, and he will just take the knee and let the clock run out and bring it to a close.
Well, we've seen what we wanted to see in this Battle of the Boulevard, haven't we? Going into the half, all tied up at 14. What a game so far.
Yeah, as you mentioned, a 14-14 score at the end of the first half. We'll be back in a few moments with the PlayOnSports.com halftime show. Don't go anywhere. It's Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. And welcome to PlayOnSports.com halftime show, coming to you live from Tacfudena Memorial Stadium in Fremont, California. I'm Joe Lahiv alongside Eric Hodge. Our halftime score is the Washington Huskies 14 and the American Eagles 14. So a tie ball game here in the Battle of the Boulevard here in Fremont, California.
We can't ask for much more, right? In a huge rivalry game here in Fremont, California. You got to love to see this. And Washington trailed at 14-0 at one point, but fought back and tied this thing up at 14-14. So, their head coach, Ken Whitmer, is excited about that. And you want to talk about talent. Let's talk about Washington's tailback, Nate Woodstra. 2 big plays, 2 big touchdowns, and both plays were remarkable. Again, you'll be able to see those highlights tomorrow on PlayOnSports.com on demand. Basically, what Woodstra did was cut on a dime twice and ended up scoring on big-time plays. So Washington High School down 14-0 at one point, making a ball game out of this great rivalry.
Yeah, and good play from the backs for both sides. We saw Drew Lyell with a long touchdown run. A long run that set up a touchdown by quarterback Ryan Barker. So it's been a lot of good action on the ground, but a great passing attack from Washington as well.
Yeah, we talked about their quarterback, senior leader Kyle Malpede, and how he is not afraid to throw the ball downfield. Based on my count, he had 6 plays downfield with passes of 20-plus yards, and literally his first 5 were inches away from being big-time completions. And then finally on that 6th pass, he had that great pass to Andrew Lanos, who had the one-handed grab, which was obviously one of the best plays you'll see in high school football, and I truly mean that. So make sure to check out PlayOnSports.com tomorrow to check out that play on demand.
Yeah, a really great play by Lanos, a one-handed catch that he made under pressure, and that was really a crucial situation for them as they was closing up the first half, and Washington was trying to even up the score, and they did just that thanks to that big gain. And, of course, as you mentioned, Woodstra with his second touchdown run of the game. So we look towards this second half as the teams are going to be warming up here to get back to it. And, American going to start with the ball to start the second half. And what do we expect for them to change here coming into this second half?
Well, offensively, I don't think they need to change much. Basically, it's no secret what they like to do. They like running the ball. They like running it up the gut. They like running it down your throat. So I don't think that's going to change much. Basically, what they're going to have to do is really concentrate on the defense, concentrate on that secondary because, like you said, Washington High School likes to throw the deep ball. So basically shut down the secondary and the wide receivers, rather, for American High School.
Yeah, you really would like to see Americans' defense maybe get a bit more aggressive, start to press the wide receivers, get a bit of contact off the line, and, see with those short screen passes and things like that, if they're up on the line and kind of cheat and taking away that underneath, you can see if that can eliminate some of the deep attack for Washington as well if it disrupts their offensive rhythm. You talk about Washington, the passing attack, the balance attack really has been working very well for them. What do you need from them in the second half?
I think they kind of go to that screen pass that's been working with them so well. We've seen them air it out on the 20-plus yard passes 6 times tonight, but what's really got their offensive going was those little 5-yard screen passes that can be a nuisance to the defensive side for Americans. So, I say you stick with that offensively.
And really, I kind of wonder if they try to get the ball on a passing play out to Woodstra. He's done very well out of the backfield running with those 2 touchdown runs. They've really been a shot in the arm for this club, but you wonder if he is going to get something out of the backfield, try to get the ball in his hands with some more open field in front of him and really stretch that defense out.
Yeah, from what we've seen from Woodstra, that kid, you could line that kid up pretty much anywhere, and he's going to get a play done for you. So, good stuff.
So as the teams are getting ready to get back on the field here, and start this second half of this game, we will see who in these crosstown rivals will come out victorious in this second league game here in a 14-14 score as we wait for the 2 teams to finish warming up.
Yeah, you mentioned league games, and for American, again, this is their first league game. And when talking to head coach Brett Casey before the ball game, I said, what would a win do for you guys in this first league game for you guys? He said, hey, win tonight means it's a big character win for us. You go into conference play, you really want to start off with a win. On the flip side, Washington High School 1-0 in league play, so they want to keep that momentum going and make a big impact.
And that's going to do it for the PlayOnSports.com halftime show. Friday Night Football will return in just a few moments with the start of the second half right here in your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the PlayOn School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Watching PlayOnSports.com's presentation of high school football on Friday night. It is the Washington Huskies tied with the American Eagles at 14 as we begin to start the second half. And Jake Rice getting set to kick it away to Robert Pinckney and Eric Adair. Of course, they've been avoiding those return men all game, so we'll see if they continue to do that here to start this second half. When American kicked off to start the ball game, they went with the onside kick, but Washington able to recover. We'll see if Washington has any tricks up their sleeve to start the second half, as they stayed in the huddle for quite a bit of time there.
Yeah, possibly scheming up a little trickery here.
So here's Rice's kick, and it's just going to be a high arching kick behind the second level. Players running for it. Washington player dives on it. Does he have it? And he does.
And that might be the longest onside kick I've ever seen in my life.
Well, you've seen that from teams there, and especially in the high school level, they've been using that when they try to just put in a zone where no one is and just have their wingmen come in and attack.
Yeah, that kick was placed perfectly there.
And so Washington with great field position to start this second half as their offense on the field here. Malpete setting the shotgun. Two receivers to the bottom of your screen, one up top. Adams, the back behind him, as Malpete takes a snap, and he's going to hand off to Adams. Breaks one tackle, works towards the right side, fighting forward, gain of 5 yards on the play, and second down upcoming. It's the aggressive play call there, working out for Washington. They'll be with a great field position after recovering that sort of onside kick.
Right.
And they're set with second down and 5 here from the 20-yard line of American. Washington still using no huddle as they did in the first half as they take the shotgun snap and a handoff to Adams. Adams working his way up the middle. And actually, no. Correction, it was a quarterback keeper, the fake handoff, and Malpete actually had a loss on the play.
Yeah, and there's a big-time tackle there from defensive lineman for American High School, DJ K, getting in the backfield there on the play action there.
So a third down and 7 upcoming with 11 minutes left to play here in the third quarter. So Malpete calling out the play to his receivers as he gets set in the shotgun here. Taking the snap, dropping back, looking left. He arches it high towards the left sideline, looking for Lanos. Does he have the catch? And they're going to say he has the catch and into the end zone for the touchdown.
And Malpete serving that thing on a platter. Great catch by Lanos, getting on the back pylon there and bringing it in for the touchdown.
And actually, I got to correct myself. It was Terrence Jones in the corner of the end zone who's able to reel that one in for the touchdown.
So Malpete showing off that touch. You know, we've been talking a lot about that touch, and it's coming up.
They put it in the perfect spot here. 10:38 left to play in the third quarter. So less than a minute and a half is all it took for Washington to get the first points of this third quarter. Here's a kick. It's up, and it is good. And it is a 21-14 game.
And let's remind everyone at home that Washington trailed this ball game 14-0 going into the second quarter. So really, they've turned the momentum here, and that's funky-looking onside kick. You got to love the play call there, and now we're starting to see Malpete here and him showcasing what he can do with the rock.
Yeah, after overthrowing players on those long passes, he really has settled in here. And 21 unanswered points here for the Huskies as they'll be kicking off to American, who now has to respond as they trail for the first time in this ball game.
So it'll be interesting to see how American responds here, down for the first time in this ball game.
Well, it looks like they're going to cheat their backs up a little bit as Pinckney and Adair sit at their own 20s. So it looks like they're going to try to take away that short little chip shot that they lost possession on the last kickoff. So Rice set to kick it away. And he boots this one towards the right side. Adair able to pick it up from his own 20. He's going to work back towards the middle of the field as he crosses the 25. Following his blockers as he is pulled down from behind as he crosses the 30-yard line. So Adair got it up to the 33-yard line. So American now going to have to respond.
Yeah, we'll get a lot of sense of American's ball club here with them giving up 21 unanswered points. See how their offense responds.
Barker bringing it up to the line. High formation behind him. Barker on the handoff going to Lyell. Lyell breaks away from one tackler and fighting his way forward. And he ended up with a gain of about a yard on the play. Second down upcoming.
And that's Nate Woodstra with the stop there for Washington High School. So not only does Woodstra play tailback for Washington High School, he's also making big-time tackles there in their defense.
So second down and 9 upcoming here for American. Eagles trying to respond here to the 3 touchdowns that Washington has put on the board. Barker set under center, takes a snap, hands it off to Lyell, who bobbled it for a moment, was able to hang on to it as he works his way upfield, ends about a yard shy of the first down marker. And so third down upcoming.
And you know, we've been seeing a lot of Drew Lyell tonight. Usually the showcase back for American High School's Eric Adair. Maybe American likes the size matchup there with Lyell, a bit bigger back than Adair, so it's been working for them so far.
Well, now they say they swap it out with Lyell on the sideline. Pinckney now the man in the backfield. Barker taking the snap. He's going to hand off to Pinckney. Hits his own man as he crosses the line of scrimmage, but he's able to fly forward for another first down.
Yeah, Pinckney juking him in there through the holes and picking up the big-time first down.
So ball spotted at his own 47-yard line as Pinckney with a great run for the Eagles there. So he gets that 1st and 10. American bringing it up to the line. So they go 4 wideouts for the first time in this ballgame, and Barker setting the shotgun. Taking a low snap, and he's going to give a delay handoff, and it's Pinckney quickly up the line across the first down marker.
And Pinckney dancing there across the middle. You got to love to see that. The agility from Pinckney.
Yeah, very nice moves by Pinckney. And good setup by American as they changed up the formation there and kept Washington's defense guessing, but still went with a tried and true on the handoff up the middle. So ball at the Washington 41.5-yard line. Barker set under center with 3 backs behind him. They send Lyell in motion. And Barker going to hand out to Pinckney. Fumbles the ball. Players going for it. Washington signaling that they have it.
And that was American tailback Eric Adair. Couldn't quite grab onto that ball.
And American was able to fall on it.
And give credit to Adair because he was the one that fumbled and he was the one that saw the ball loose and jumped back on it to give his team possession still.
So barely half a yard loss on the play, so a second down and a long 10 upcoming here.
And that's the last thing American wanted there was a turnover, giving up 21 unanswered points.
So Barker sending a man in motion. He fakes a handoff to Adair. Dropping back, he fires over the middle. Looking, he has a receiver going down the left sideline into the end zone for the touchdown.
And that is Anthony Young, the big tight end for American High School. Big time play there from American. And right when you thought they were down and out, giving up 21 unanswered points, this offense comes back, and they do it in an unconventional way, Joe. They've been running the ball quite a bit, and then quarterback Ryan Barker showing off the arm there and hooking up with his big tight end Anthony Young for the big-time score.
Now the extra point going to be upcoming here for American. It's Alex Mayoral set to tie this game up. There's a snap. The kick is up, and Mayoral is able to connect. So 21-21 with 7:58 left to play here in the third quarter, and the rivalry continues.
The Battle of the Boulevard. Living up to the hype here. You got to love to see it. Tied up 21-21.
Yeah, you love these back-and-forth games when it seems like one team starts to assert themselves, the other team's able to answer. And certainly great for these hometown fans.
Yeah, as broadcasters up here in the press box, we have seats to sit in, but literally this whole game, I haven't sat down. I can't. This game's been going back and forth. It's just been too exciting.
Yeah, definitely a lot of action and a fun game to call. As we mentioned, and tying this game back up, it was a 14-0 lead for American before three unanswered touchdowns by Washington made it 21-14. And American answering back with the pass play over the middle, something we didn't really see a lot of them from in the first half.
No, that's right. That's the first time we've really been able to showcase junior quarterback Ryan Barker for American High School. The great thing about Barker is that he started for American last year as a sophomore, so he's got all that experience, and it showed there with that big-time pass across the middle.
Now Wellington set to kick it away, and another ground ball up the middle there. And this one skips by one of the up men, and picking it up is the return man, Aerobi, working down the left sideline, crossing the 50 up to the 40, and finally wrestled down inside American territory.
And give love to the kicker for American High School, Anthony Wellington, making that big-time stop. Otherwise, that had 6 points written all over it.
Well, they're trying to avoid the return man, Aerobi, and he was still up with the ball in his hand.
Yeah, I was going to say, and that's why they've been kicking the ball off like that.
So they get set. Ball spotted at the 37-yard line, so great field position for Washington to try to answer again. So you get the feeling both of these offenses really feel like they can impose their will on the defense thus far.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's a weird feeling because it's not like the defenses have been playing bad,
Yeah.
It's just big plays. There's been about 6 big plays. So, yeah, what ends up happening is that we have 6 touchdowns, coincidentally.
So a little mix-up here, and they finally get the right ball into play here for the Washington offense. So 7:48 left to play here in the third quarter in this 21-21 ball game. And now Washington set to respond. Malpede from the shotgun dropping back, looking towards his right, airing it out deep towards the right sideline, and another incredible catch. This one by Brandon Sewell inside the 20-yard line.
And a correction, I believe that was Andrew Llanos again, Joe. And if that's the case, Llanos with 2 amazing one-handed grabs in this ballgame.
So it sets up a first down inside the 20-yard line. Malpede set in the shotgun, taking the snap. He's going to hand it off, and no gain there set for Nate Woodstra.
At this point, I'm kind of convinced that Llanos might have a little, some glue on his glove right now. Yeah, some stickum. I mean, 2 great catches there from Llanos tonight.
So second down and actually 11 here as Malpede set from the shotgun. Taking the snap, faking the handoff, he fires towards the left side, and this ball is bobbled and finally reeled in. And a short gain on the play. And that was Terrence Jones who reeled it in. So 3rd and 7 coming up for Washington here. 6:36 to play here in the third quarter. Malpede taking the snap, dropping back, pump fakes left, still looking left as he airs it out deep towards the corner of the end zone and overthrows his man. Flags come in, but I don't think that ball was catchable.
Yeah, that's a good point. That ball looked like it wasn't catchable. However, it looks like it is going to be a pass interference call.
So interesting, the refs did not catch that, as that ball was, good 3 to 5 yards out of bounds and high. But pass interference will be called against American.
Yeah, I was going to say, nonetheless, Washington High School is still not afraid to air this thing out. So if you want entertainment, I mean, this ball game pretty much has it all so far.
As Malpete getting set here. It'll be a 1st and goal as they're just inside the 10-yard line. Malpete taking the shotgun snap, and he's going to hand this one off. And I believe it was Woodstra. And it was, who got a short gain on the play. So Malpete set here on 2nd and goal. Taking the snap, he's going to hand off to Woodstra again. He's tripping forward as he gets inside the 5-yard line and is brought down 2 yards shy of the goal line.
So Washington's offense looking a little bit like American's offense right now, electing to go to 2 straight runs up the gut and picking up yardage shortly here.
So 3rd down and goal upcoming for Malpete here. Malpete said, hands it off to Adams this time, diving over his men in towards the end zone, and looks like they're going to mark him just shy. So 4th down and goal upcoming.
Yeah, big-time play coming up here for Washington High School. Do they elect to, again, go up the gut? Again, we've seen what their quarterback, Kyle Malpete, can do. Do they elect to go back to that little screen pass?
So here it is, 4th and goal. The aggressive call is Washington trying to regain the lead here with 5 minutes left to play here in the 3rd quarter. Malpete taking the snap, hands it off. It's Adams, gets hit hard, spins off a Reed's tackle, diving forward and into the end zone for the touchdown.
And the tenacity there from Eddie Adams to get that ball in. He was knocked down almost clearly there in the 2-yard line, span, and ended up scoring on that big-time play.
Wow, Matt Reed came in and hit him hard. Yeah. Adams able to spin off of it and dive into the end zone. A great individual play there by Adams.
That hit from Reed was mammoth, and somehow Adams, like I said, stayed on his feet.
So set for the extra point here will be Washington to try to make it again a 7-point lead. Here's a snap, the kick is up, and it is good. So a 7-point lead for the Huskies here over the American Eagles with 4:51 left to play here in the 3rd quarter.
You ready for the cliche boxing analogy here? We've got a heavyweight bout, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, they have stood toe-to-toe and slugged it out so far here through about 2.5 quarters.
Hey, Joe, do you know about our school broadcast program?
No, tell me about it.
Yeah, let me tell you about it. Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School broadcast program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
And so as the back and forth, a heavyweight matchup as we've labeled it here in the 3rd quarter, 4:51 left to play, 28-21. It's the score, Washington leading. And it has been really, Washington's shown a lot of resolve there after being down 14 early to be able to have 2 different 7-point leads. And now American's chance to respond here.
Yeah, you got to love, the whole rivalry and the battle of the Boulevard really playing out tonight. So I hope you guys at home are enjoying this.
We certainly are.
Yeah, we broke it down as a heavyweight matchup, right?
So we see the kick coming here, and American having to stay on their toes after they had that short kick right around the 30-yard line that they were not able to get to, and Washington was able to dive on it and gain possession to start the 3rd quarter. Now Rice set to kick, and this one is going to be a low-line drive. This one right at Adair, who's going to follow his blockers up the middle, and he gets hit right around the 35-yard line. So American set to go to work.
So how does head coach Brett Casey and his team respond again? Last time they kind of switched it up a little bit, had a little play-action pass across the middle for that big-time score. Do they elect to go to the pass a little bit more now at this point, kind of get Washington's defense off track? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what they've been building up all game with all these runs. Now what have they set up for their offense at this point? Can they draw the defense one way when they're really trying to do something else? Barker setting the shotgun this time, sending Adair in motion, fakes a handoff to Adair, instead gives it to his back, working towards the left side. And that was Nazif Popao.
And that's our first look at Nazif Popao with this carry, picking up a couple yards.
And looks like a 4-yard gain on the play, setting up a 2nd down and 6 for American here. Clock moving under 4.5 minutes left to play here in the third quarter, with American trailing by a single touchdown. Barker set under center. Takes a snap, hands off to Adair. Adair working behind right tackle, pushing his way forward, gets near the first down marker, still on his feet. He'll have a first down plus a lot more, and finally the referees blow that one dead.
And so this is really the first time we've got a chance to really see Eric Adair. You know, he's a team leader in rushing yards for this American high school team, and you see why. Like I said, not that big of a kid. He's like 5'7", but managing to keep that pile and that scrum up that whole time. And 5'7", that's not easy to do.
And you wonder if it was just a weapon they were keeping hidden in this first half. We didn't see a lot of action. You saw a lot more Drew Lyell. Now Adair again in on this play.
Yeah, maybe part of the game plan, right?
As he gets set here on on first down. They hand it to Adair following his blockers after a hesitation, fights his way forward, and maybe got a yard on the play.
You know, you brought up a good point, Joe. You know, they went to Drew Lyell a lot in the first half. Maybe they're bringing in the fresh legs now, you know, with Adair.
So moving up to 3.5 minutes left to play here in the third quarter. It's a 2nd down and 9 upcoming from their own 48.5-yard line for the American Eagles. As Barker bringing it up to the line. 3 backs behind him once again. Taking the snap, he pitches toward left side. It's Adair following his blockers, wrapped up from behind, and he's going to be brought down for a loss of about 1.5 yards.
Nowhere to go for Adair as Washington's defense comes up big on that play, and that is cornerback Elijah Johnson with the big-time hit, pushing Adair back about 1 yard.
So we'll see what the offense can do here. Barker was able to showcase his arm on that last possession. Now he's set with a 3rd down and 11 here. Barker brings it up the line. He's set under center. 2 wideouts in this set. They send a man in motion. It's Adair towards the slot. Taking the snap, dropping back is Barker. Loops it over, and the ball's to Pinckney. Following his blockers, gets hit as he crosses the first down marker, but it'll be just enough for a first down.
And Pinckney with no regard for his body. Did you see him leap up in the air there to get the first down? Great play there by Pinckney.
And keeping this offense alive. As they get set with the first down. Spotted at the 42-yard line of Washington. 2 minutes and 15 seconds and counting left here in the third quarter. As Barker getting set under center. One receiver to the top of the formation from the eye. They hand it off. It's Lyell this time. Working behind right guard and a gain of 4 yards on the play.
And I love what head coach Brett Casey's doing right now, substituting his tailbacks and bringing in those fresh legs. You know, again, we saw Eric Adair for the first few possessions there. Now we're seeing Drew Lyell. I mean, to have that option, that's got to be a great option to have if you're a high school head coach.
And everyone a quick back. Great moves from the backfield. And really, as they try to wear that defense down. And as you said, this swapping out the backs, keeping everybody fresh, could be advantageous for the running game. As it's 1:37 left to play here in the third quarter. Barker's fake it and the handoff, going to keep it himself here on 2nd down. Working towards the left side as he crossed the 35-yard line, wrapped up from behind and brought out of bounds. He's very close to the first down marker. It all depends on the spot here. And they do say he has the first down.
And again, the play call, you got to love to see that. The quarterback keeper, little rollout there when I'm sure Washington wasn't expecting that whatsoever.
And it's great as it sets up so much more. The defense has to be on their heels on these plays. Just wondering if Barker's going to have another keeper coming up. He gets set with the 1st and 10. Ball spot at the 32-yard line. Barker taking the snap, hands off to Adair, working towards the right side, and he follows a pile up ahead. Gain of about 6 on the play.
And if you guys at home aren't familiar with this running attack for American High School, they've been extremely successful. As mentioned before, last week in their big win against San Lorenzo, this offensive running game had 294 yards rushing. So they're sticking with it tonight.
So second down and actually 5 upcoming after the 5-yard gain. And Barker taking the handoff over towards Adair. And Adair tripped up from behind as he crossed the line of scrimmage, but still notched out about 3 yards on the play.
So simple, but yet so effective for this American high school offense.
As we are approaching 30 seconds left to play here in the third quarter. So we might see our last play coming up here of the third quarter. Barker set under center, 3 backs behind him. Taking the snap, hands it off as Lyell this time, working back towards the middle, and he has enough for the first down.
Lyle up the middle, first down, Eagles.
So they pause it, they stop the clock to move the chains. And now they get it set in American. More than likely going to let the clock run down here and switch sides. And indeed they will do just that. 28-21, Washington is leading over the Eagles here as we begin the fourth quarter.
And just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, Play on Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at Play on Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnSportsNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports of PlayOnSports.com.
And we've got a great one here, the crosstown rivals in a back and forth match between these two teams. And really both teams have been able to respond when they've been down. And in a situation, you like football, this is a great game to be at.
Yeah, what do you think both head coaches are saying right now in the huddle as we enter the last 12 minutes of the ball game?
Well, you know, I think it's about not making mistakes. Obviously, both teams have been able to score. It's been very much back and forth. You don't want to make that error that gives the other team the advantage. I mean, you said it earlier, it could come down to the last team that has the ball. You don't want to turn it over and give it to the other team in that situation.
Yeah, very good point.
So in the last 12 minutes of this back and forth ball game, as we mentioned, 28-21 Washington leads, but American driving here to start this fourth quarter. It'll be a first down and 10 from the Washington 20-yard line. Eagles set, Barker under center. Pinckney, the deep back, and a collision as Popal actually took the handoff and he turned up ahead. Don't know if he was the intended back on that play, but he was able to take the handoff and move upfield.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think that ball was supposed to go to Popal, but give him credit for having enough sense to take that ball upfield and pick up close to the first down. Good job, Popal.
As he sets it up with a second down and 2 upcoming as a fullback with the great gain there. Collided with his quarterback as he took the handoff. So they bring it up to the line here. Ball spot at the 12-yard line of Washington. Barker set under center. Fakes a handoff on 2nd and 2, now rolls to his right. Feeling pressure, he fires towards the right side and just throws it away, incomplete.
Yeah, smart play there by Barker just to get rid of that ball and not try to take a sack by trying to do too much. Nice play there from Barker.
Yeah, you know, it's something that you see so much in the pro game. They do so well. It's nice to see a high school kid that has that sensibility to realize the situation and not try to force anything there as well.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, he started last year as a sophomore, so he does have that experience.
And so they get set here. Third down and 2 upcoming from the 12-yard line. 11 minutes and 11 seconds left to play here in the fourth quarter. Barker from under center, going to be a keeper, pushing his way forward. He definitely has enough for the first down as he got inside the 10-yard line.
Eagle first down.
Yeah, give credit to the offensive line there for American High School, pushing the defensive line of Washington back far enough for Barker to get that first down.
So Barker, as he's done throughout the game, goes to the sideline to get the call, then brings it into the huddle. Be a first and goal. Ball right on the 6-yard line. It's Barker taking it from under center, hands it out to Popal, and he's hit immediately from the line of scrimmage. And nowhere to go.
Yeah, big play there from the defensive line of Washington High School.
You see Popal was being pushed by his teammates. They try to fight their way forward and keep his momentum going that direction.
Yeah, the thing is that Washington's progression was so big and so strong there that Popal couldn't get anything going.
So 10 minutes and 30 seconds left to play here in this fourth quarter. American trying to answer on this 7-point deficit as they've driven down the field here. Second and goal as Barker gets set under center. Taking the snap, going to hand it to Adair. Following his blockers, jukes back in towards the middle, into the end zone for the touchdown.
And he's been quiet all night, ladies and gentlemen, but he is the beast of this offensive running game for American High School. That's your first look and first touchdown for Eric Adair tonight.
Yeah, and now the extra point situation that these are becoming crucial now. It's Mayoral set to tie this ball game up at 28. Here's a snap, the kick is up, and this one is wide right, no good.
And boy, oh boy, that might come back to haunt American High School. I mean, the kicking game has been so effective tonight on the extra points. However, that one just didn't have any kind of length and any kind of height to get over the goalpost there.
And definitely nowhere near it as it went wide right.
Nonetheless, we still have a great game. In fact, there are a bunch of great games here in the East Bay. Thank you to our producer, Zach Farmer, for giving me an update of scores here. Let's go over them for you. Acalini's is up 14-10 over Las Lomas in the third quarter. Meantime, Oakland Tech is tied with Benicia at 7-7 at the half. Del Campo's up 21-14 at the half over Miramonte. And Logan High School is tied with Darrell Oro 7-7 at the half.
So a lot of good games, but probably a better one here, judging by what we've seen so far.
Yeah, Joe, we might have the game of the night here for PlayOnSports.com.
It's been,
and I don't say that lightly.
Yeah, you know, it is a very good back and forth game in this rivalry. 10:09 left to play, and after the missed extra point for the Eagles, it is a 1-point ball game. American trailing Washington 28-27. So Wellington set to kick it away. And he's going to kick it on the ground off the front. Up man diving forward. Players fighting for it. And there's a scrum underneath there. You never know what's going to happen.
And that went off the foot of Washington High School's Jermaine White.
So we need to see the unpiled players. Still a lot of fighting underneath there.
And Washington still hanging on to that ball. Big time hands there from Jermaine White.
Well, you certainly love the aggressiveness of these two coaches going for it on fourth downs, onside kicks. I mean, we've only seen one punt in this ball game.
Yeah, you know, both coaches know this is a huge rivalry game. They're bringing out all their punches like we mentioned before. Perfect analogy. I know it's cliche, but this is a heavyweight matchup, my friend.
And now we'll see how Washington can respond here after giving up the touchdown. Malpete set in the shotgun. Takes a snap, and he's going to hand it off. It's Adams, and Adams doesn't have anywhere to go. He's stopped right on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, big-time hit there from big defensive lineman DJ K for American High School, getting in the backfield.
So it'll be a 2nd down and 10 upcoming here for Washington.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to come down to what defense can make a stop here in the fourth quarter. Really, these offenses have been looking so suave that the defenses just need to make one big stop, it seems like.
Yeah, we'll see if American can get it here as they really need one, trailing by 1. Here's a shotgun snap. Malpete taking it, looking towards the right. He fires towards the right. This one's reeled in for a catch, and wrestled out of bounds is a wide receiver, Lanos.
Yeah, Malpete showing the poise there, staying in the pocket and making that big reception there.
So that's 7 yards on the play there. Will set up a 3rd down and 3 here for Washington. Malpete set from the shotgun. Chopping back, he's going to hand this one off, and American's defense was prepared for it.
And again, that is big defensive lineman DJ K, the captain here for American High School, making the big play in the backfield, which was a huge play. Keep in mind, that brings up 4th down.
So it was Adams on the handoff, no gain there. So 4th down, and with the aggressiveness we've seen from both of these coaches, you assume they're going to go for it here. And that certainly looks to be the case after the loss of 2. So Malpede calling out the plays with receivers. Now takes a low shotgun snap, looking towards the right. He fires and overthrows his intended receiver. So turnover on downs for Washington. Their third of the ball game, and American now with a chance to respond.
Yeah, big-time defensive stand there from American's defense. Like we were mentioning before, one of these defenses is going to have to make a stop, and American just made a big old point.
And so American now with a chance. They need to score, and if they do, you assume they need to go for two here. So Barker brings up the line, first down and 10, ball spotted on his own 44-yard line. Taking the snap, he hands it off, working towards the right side, and the back Pinckney was up ahead for about a 3-yard gain.
So American electing to stay with that strong running game.
Yeah. You wonder if the situation, if they do want to run some time off the clock, if they assume that they're going to score, as they've been able to do most of this evening.
Yeah, probably not a bad idea with the way Washington's offense has been driving the ball downfield on each of their offensive possessions.
So Barker sets second down and 6 here. Takes a handoff. It's to Pinckney, and Pinckney across the line of scrimmage towards the left side is brought down around the 50.
Yeah, like you said, this is pretty much fourth down territory for both teams. The way both coaches have been aggressive on offense, you would think that this is four down territory for American High School.
And a third down and 4 upcoming here from the 50-yard line. They put Barker in the shotgun. 4 wide out set. He takes a low snap, finally picks it up and gives it to Pinckney. Pinckney working towards the left side, and now Washington's defense able to make the stop. And fourth down upcoming.
Yeah, that was such an impressive stop there by Washington's safety because Pinckney had a lot of momentum running downfield there, and somehow Washington managed to slow him down.
So that 4th and 2 upcoming. Of course they're going to go for it.
Right, we are in fourth down territory. Hey, it is the battle of the Boulevard, Joe.
The Boulevard we mentioned,
no punting.
Fremont Boulevard. I don't know if we mentioned that all broadcast.
Thank you. Because it is a beautiful night here in Fremont, California.
It really has been a great one this evening. So Barker set under center. And, the offensive line jumped.
So now do you punt?
Interesting to see what American does, and we do see some substitutions coming in. So we'll see what they do here.
And, 4th and 4 and 4th and 9 are two completely different worlds. So it looks like American's going to elect a punt now.
You do see Wellington back deep. They sent Arobi back. Does Washington to return this one? Can't relax, though, with the way these two teams have been playing. Wellington this time is going to punt it away. High end-over-end kick, and looks like Arobi is going to let this one bounce inside his own 10-yard line. Takes a good Washington bounce and is going to keep rolling inside the 5.
And give credit to Wellington there. Great punt to back Washington's offense all the way to the 3-yard line.
So a lot of field in front of Washington. Interesting to see how they play this one. They've been working with the pass quite a bit. You wonder if they're going to try to run the ball a bit here.
Yeah, with only 5 minutes and 47 seconds left to play. What do you do here if you're Washington High School? Kind of try to run down the clock?
Or are you going to stay aggressive as you've been all game?
Point,
yeah, it's a tough decision here. I mean, it is only a 1-point lead. So Malpede set on 1st and 10, taking the shotgun snap from his own 3 and handing it off to his back towards the right side. And a short gain on the play. As it was Woodstrow took the handoff and actually worked out about a 6-yard gain altogether. So 2nd and 4, Malpede setting the shotgun again. Taking the snap. Again, he hands off to Woodstrow. This time fighting through the middle and not much doing there. Maybe got a half a yard on the gain.
Yeah, so here you go, 3rd and 5. Gigantic 3rd and 5 play here for American's defense.
Coming up on 5 minutes left to play here in this ball game. Washington clinging to that 1-point lead. Clock under 5 minutes now as Malpeed from the shotgun, looking towards his sideline. Now checking his wrist, and he's going to change the play here. And a whistle comes, and looks like we might have had somebody jump. And no, actually a delay of game is called against Malpeed. It did seem like they were taking a while there.
Yeah, tough penalty there for Washington High School, backing you up. As far as they're already backed up, it's going to be tough for them to try to convert here on third in about 10.
And so Washington going to take a timeout and talk this one over on this crucial third down.
PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championships events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com, high school sports lives here.
And so 4:36 left to play in this ball game. 28-27 your score. The Huskies lead over American. And see what the Huskies do here as they face a third down and long now.
Yeah, a lot of decisions to be made here if you're Washington High School. You try to run the clock down a little bit more and let your defense try and win this ball game, or do you try to stay aggressive like we've been talking about and air it out here with your senior leading quarterback, Kyle Malpeed?
Yeah, they certainly want to maintain possession and keep that ball out of Americans' hands. In this situation here, I mean, you do either want to score or you just want to continue to maintain possession for the last 4:36 of this ball game. So Malpeed set from the shotgun here. It's a third down and 4 upcoming. Taking the snap, he drops back, looking towards his left, fires, and that ball is reeling for a catch up towards the 20-yard line, up to the 25, and fumbled now, diving forward, and American has it. It's Terrence Jones with the reception, then turned the ball over as it got poked out from behind.
And it is Terry George, defensive back for American High School, jumping on that ball. Big-time play, and I didn't catch who actually stripped the ball out of the receiver's hand there for Washington High School. But when you need a big-time play, talk about a big-time play. 4 minutes, 25 seconds left in this ball game, and American forcing that huge turnover.
So we will see what American does here, trailing by 1. Obviously, momentum, it can be in their favor here. As we mentioned on the last drive, they need to score. They need the 2-point conversion to take back a 7-point lead.
Well, just think how big that play was for American High School. I'm still looking back at it, and huge, huge turnover.
And a crowd getting back into this ball game, getting behind their home team.
Starting to hear chants of "Let's go Eagles" from the American sideline.
The referees get something off the field. Couldn't see what it was. American trying to pump up their crowd.
And you gotta love to see that. The youngsters out there getting fired up.
So Barker set from under center, hands off to Adair, and he's tripped up from behind as he went towards the left side. Short gain on the play. So second down upcoming.
Hey, Joe, you remember about an hour and a half ago when I happened to mention that I've got a weird feeling in my gut that this ball game is going to come down to the last team to have possession?
And as we come up to 4 minutes left to play, this could be what we're watching here. Barker takes a snap, handing it to Adair, working towards the left side, behind left guard again. Not much there for him, and a third down upcoming.
Yeah, give credit to Washington's defense, making the big stop there, making it third and long.
Yeah, it seems like both defenses, though they have given up some big plays, have both started to respond here in this fourth quarter. Coming up on 3.5 minutes left to play in the ball game. Eagles trailing by 1, and a crucial third down for them here. Barker takes a snap, hands it off. It's Pinckney working towards the right side. Nothing doing on that side. Maybe got a yard on it, and fourth down's coming up.
Yeah, so big-time decision here if you're American High School and head coach Brett Casey. Do you elect to kind of get a little pass going now? Because I have a feeling that Washington's going to probably load the box here with 8 guys and try to stop this running game on fourth down.
Yeah, fourth down and about 4 coming up here, so decision time for American. Clock is under 3 minutes now, actually about to hit 2 minutes 50 seconds and counting. So 4th down with Barker set under center. Taking the snap, hands it with Adair, following his blockers towards the right side, pushing forward, and he just has enough for that 1st down. Got an extra yard on the play.
Ooh, and Adair stretching for that 1st down. That's where it pays off to be a smaller guy, right? And I can say that because I'm a smaller guy, so I'm rooting for you, Eric Adair. Big top 1st down there for the little man.
So it'll be a 1st and 10 from the Washington 20-yard line. So now American, a fresh set of downs. You want more time off of this clock, but you also need to score. Barker bringing it up to the line, 1st down. 3 backs in the backfield. Handing off to Adair, working towards the right side. Following his blockers as he crossed the 20-yard line. He's brought down inside the 20.
Yeah, and if you're American head coach Brett Casey, you are enjoying the fact that you have 4 solid tailbacks right now where you can run the ball and pick up about 4 or 5 yards every play and run this clock down.
So many great options, and you think that they've all got to be pretty fresh out there as he's been rotating them out pretty heavily. Even with Adair, you didn't really see much of him until the 2nd half. American fans getting on their feet here on this 2nd down play. Barker set under center. Takes a snap, he hands off to Adair again, following his blockers up the middle, knifes his way forward, and picked up about 3 on the play. 3rd down coming up.
And at what point do you start worrying about the clock if you're American high school? You know they love to run the ball, but I mean, there's only 1 minute and 35 seconds left in this ball game.
Well, they still have their timeouts, and you wonder when they do start to have those come into play, do they have faith that they could hit a field goal here? Ball spot at the 15-yard line. So 3rd down upcoming here. Barker takes a snap, fakes a handoff, loses his shoe as he fires up towards the middle and towards the side, incomplete. And almost intercepted by the Washington defender.
And you know that cornerback, Washington's cornerback, Ahmed Orobi, wishes he could have had that one back. That one literally in his hands, but he fell back and couldn't grab that ball.
So American here has a 4th down. 1:07 left to play, trailing by 1.
Yeah, decision making. Do you have faith in your field goal kicker here? Can you kick this, what is going to be about a 32-yard field goal?
And a timeout is going to be used by American to sort this one out.
And ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for the PlayOnSports.com post-game show where we will select our player of the game as well as wrap up all the action from this ball game. That's coming up following the game on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. And we have some decisions to make tonight, Joe, as there are plenty of candidates for our player of the game. Obviously, you guys at home are going to want to stick around and see that as we like to have fun with our player of the game and ask him all the tough questions.
So, yeah, well, there'll be an interesting and tough discussion to have. And you think maybe this drive might answer that question as well. So we'll see what comes up here.
You know, I hate tooting my own horn, but I said it about an hour and a half ago. This ball game's coming down to the team that has the possession last. And, hey, there's a minute left in this ball game. We should go to Vegas right now. You want to? I'm feeling lucky. And it looks like American is actually going to go for it on this 4th and 4.
So this is the ball game right here. Barker takes a snap, hands to Pinckney, working towards the left side. Tripped up. Did he get enough?
Oh, we are going to have a very close call here. It's all going to be a matter of the spot here from the official.
Both teams started to celebrate at first. Washington continued theirs. Nothing's official till the referees probably come and take this measurement. And looks like it was not close enough to need one. Turnover on downs.
Wow, you got to give credit to Pinckney, too. He lowered his head down, but Washington's defense with the big-time hit to prevent that 1st down and what looks to be the play of the game.
So 1:01 remaining. 2 timeouts remain for American. Let's see what they do here, if they can get a stop. So Washington's slow to get this organized. Now they do get set, and Malpede going to take a knee here. And looks like they'll be content to let this clock run out.
And boy, talk about a great game. The Battle of the Boulevard has lived up to all our expectations. Last year was the first time American high school has won this big rivalry since 1987, so it looks like Washington's going to win tonight and pick up the crown again and the big rivalry game here in Fremont, California.
So timeout taken here for teams to discuss this one over. And one timeout does remain for American here.
So anything less of a miracle in Washington High School looks as if they are going to improve to 3-2, more importantly 2-0 in league play.
And really it's a good story with this Washington High School team. Had some big losses to start this season out. And really it took them a little bit of time to gel.
Yeah, you mentioned those losses. In week one, they ended up losing 40-7 against Cal, and in week two, they lost even bigger to Oak Ridge out of the Sacramento area, 49-0. So, yeah, they've bounced back over the last few weeks, and this will be 3 in a row now for Washington High.
As Washington looking like they might need to get about 2 more kneel downs here to make this official. Malpete takes a knee here. And a bit of a late whistle. And waiting to see here. Referee temporarily stopped the clock. Was waiting to see a signal for a timeout, but there was none. He runs the clock again. So on 3rd down here, Washington content to run the clock down as much as possible before they take another knee. American will have to use their final timeout here. And they do just that. So still a glimmer. Still an opportunity for American here.
Yeah, so like you said, the glimmer is still there. 11 seconds left in this ballgame. You know, stranger things have happened. And the fact that Washington is backed up to where they're at, this punt is going to be anything from easy.
11 seconds remain, 1-point deficit for American here. And now I think Washington has taken a timeout to try to talk this one over.
Yeah, you know, Joe, we couldn't ask for much more in a rivalry game. I keep going back to that, but it's been a great game, and none of these kids can really hang their heads down low after this. I mean, it came down to just big play after big play. You know, not that anyone's defense didn't play well or anyone's offense didn't play well. It's just that the team with the possession last ended up pretty much winning this ball game. And just all in all, a really great game here in Fremont.
Yeah, great to see just such a back and forth battle between these two crosstown rivals, and certainly one for the record books for them. As we still wait for action to resume here. So still an opportunity for American. Matt Reed back to receive.
Yeah, Matt Reed, a senior leader here for American High School. And if you're Washington High School, do you even kick anywhere near Matt Reed?
And another timeout taken by Washington, so they still want to talk this one over a little bit more. I mean, is it a situation where they're just saying, kick this deep and out of bounds, don't allow a return?
Yeah, but then you have the dilemma of one last throw into the end zone, you know?
So let's see what they do. Crowds still on their feet on the American sideline, hoping their team can have a miraculous play here. Again, Reed and Cox are your deep return men.
Here we go, last shot here for American High School.
So Jake Rice set to kick it away. Gets a snap and quickly gets off a high punt. And up front, D'Angelo Cox called for the fair catch, bobbled it, and was able to dive on it. So that spots him at the 29-yard line, and they lost 6 seconds on the play.
And Cox very fortunate that he fell on top of that ball. You know, he tried to call for the fair catch, came a little bit too forward on that, and the ball was over his head, but managed to drop down on it. Here we go, Joe.
A big
Battle
play
of the
here.
Boulevard, all coming down to the last play of the ball game. Can't ask for much more than that, ladies and gentlemen.
Can Ryan Barker come up with a big play here? Probably a pass. You imagine a whole lot of laterals coming here as he pretty much just have to throw it all out the window and go for it.
You know, we've gotten a chance to see Ryan Barker throw a little bit tonight, and he does have the arm strength to make this 35-yard pass. So, I don't know, they might just toss it into the end zone here and pray for the Hail Mary. Here we go.
This is the ball game. Barker from the shotgun will work with 4 wide receivers, 3 of them to his right. And a whistle, and Washington will burn their final timeout.
Wisely calls their final timeout. And, you know, that's a great opportunity for them on the sideline to kind of see what kind of offensive formation American's going to come out in on this final play of the Battle of the Boulevard. Yeah, Barker's going to have some options. I would assume that they'll probably come out again with the 4 wide receiver set, and you can line up trips on that side again to the right, and one toss into the end zone. I got a feeling it's coming.
Yeah, smart timeout by Washington. They wanted to see what formation they were going to come out with there. So now American, do they change that or do they go with the same plan? Usually with that kind of bunched formation on the left side, or excuse me, on the right side, you imagine just try to air it up towards those 3 guys and hope one of them can come down with it.
Here we go.
Barker from the shotgun, taking the snap, dropping back. Looking, he airs it out deep towards the right side to Dare Looking, and that ball is intercepted in the end zone, and that's your ball game. Washington will be victorious.
Big time pickoff there from Washington High School's quarterback, and that's a look at Ahmed Arobi with the big time pickoff to end this ball game. And boy, oh boy, we saw it all tonight, Joe. What a game.
It really was just a great back and forth contest between these 2 teams, and just came down to that final play. And ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to stay tuned for the PlayOnSports.com post-game show. We'll be wrapping up all the action in this post-game show. We'll have an interview with our player of the game. That's coming up in just a few moments. Once again, the Washington Huskies have defeated the American Eagles 28-27 on Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream.
Camera 3.
Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Well, welcome back here to PlayOnSports.com here in Fremont, California. We just finished up the Battle of the Boulevard with American and Washington High School, with Washington High School eking out the win tonight, 28-27. I'm joined by our player of the game, senior quarterback for Washington High School, Kyle Malpeat. And Kyle, first and foremost, let's talk about this game. I mean, just talk about a heavyweight bout going back and forth, came down to the last play of the game. What was going on through your head in that last play?
All week, we expected this. This is the biggest game of the year for us. This was league championship. Now Logan's out of our league. Is us or Americans going to win league? We came into practice, had a great practice all week. We came into the game knowing that this is going to be a game to the end. We knew that this was game of the year.
And literally, it probably was game of the year, right? I mean, it does come down to the last play of the game. Of course, American had one last shot, one last Hail Mary pass. I know you were on the sideline. What did you see from the sideline, and what was going on through your head on that last play?
I was praying the whole drive. As soon as I had to punt the ball, I'm not the punter, so I had to punt the ball. I was praying, Lord, let our defense just stop them. Let us win this game.
Yeah, and you guys came up huge on all aspects of the game. Talk to me tonight about the rivalry and what it means. Now, you guys lost last year to American High School for the first time since 1987. Yeah. Come back and get the crown back. What's that mean to you guys?
It's an amazing feeling. Like I said, we knew this game was the biggest game for us. We lost them last year in homecoming, so we had to come out with a chip on our shoulder and just we had to win this game.
Talk to me a little bit about your performance tonight. You guys really like to air out the ball, and you had literally your first 5 passes of 20 yards plus. You know, those little post routes that you were tossing. You missed 5 straight times by literally inches on your receivers. How did you keep that momentum going? How did you have belief in yourself to keep throwing the long ball tonight, which eventually ended up working for you?
Yeah, I just had to keep my head in the game. Just talk to my receivers. So I'm just give me one more step, just go a little harder. You'll catch it. And I have 4 incredible receivers. I can just pick whoever I want to throw to, and they'll come in clutch. They'll make the catch.
Good man, giving credit to his receiving team and his whole team in general. No, again, a great win for you guys, 28-27 against rivals American High School tonight. Stick around. We'll be right back with our post-game wrap-up.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
And back on the PlayOnSports.com post-game show where our final score was 28-27, Washington High over American. And Eric, really, was it a heavyweight bout?
I went to the fact that it was, I know it's cliche as heck, but it was a heavyweight bout. If I can only say, down goes Frazier. The sad thing is high school kids have no idea what I'm talking about, but nonetheless, a great game all around. Came down to the last play of the game. Can't ask for much more as a football fan.
Yeah, it really was just came to who was going to have the ball last possession, even though it was that American had it at the end and couldn't connect on that Hail Mary. Really was great to see the defenses respond. There was so much offense there, but you saw in that fourth quarter, both defenses coming up with big play. Of course, Washington had the biggest stops of all to win this ball game.
Yeah, it was. It went back and forth. And again, it was a weird aspect in the sense that you can't really fault anyone in this ball game. It just came down to the fact that each team made big plays, and it came down to the last big play of the game for this huge rivalry.
Yeah, and a great performance by Malpeat. Of course, we saw a great performance by Adair. I mean, we saw just great backs in the backfield for both of these teams. Really, I mean, it was just something we were sitting on the edge of your seat to watch these two guys play, or these two teams play. So we mentioned it was a good game. It was a great game. So that's really going to wrap it up for Eric Hodges. This is Joe Lahiff, and thank you for tuning in and Play On Sports. We'll see you next time.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot.